Hello, competitive crew. Welcome to History in the Making. This is our first ever live stream, and we are going to have a great time today talking to one of the most prominent photographers in the business right now, who does quite a bit of sharing information online and helping educate photographers and giving you guys inspiration on how to get better. We're going to have her on and dig a little bit deeper into how it all started for her and how she became as proficient in this pretty hard industry of wedding photography as she is. You've probably already seen from the post, of course, you know who we're talking to. We're talking to Vanessa Joy, an industry veteran of 20 plus years that specializes in luxury weddings worldwide and a Canon Explorer of lights. Please, everybody, welcome Vanessa Joy.
Thank you so much. That was a fun intro.
I wanted to do more of a fighter style. I wanted to give you music and everything, like you walk into the ring. Maybe
I'm gonna come like slow-mo back here. That's okay. We'll up production on your second stream for that.
It's first go. All right. So real quick, let everybody know where home base is for Vanessa Joy.
Oh, I hate saying I have home base. I don't have a home. I travel about 150 days a year. So I mean, my pillow doesn't even get half of my attention. But I am currently right now in Austin, Texas. I will be in New York City tomorrow, and then I'll be in Dallas in just a few weeks with you guys.
So how often are you in the Lone Star State?
Probably a good 200 days a year, I would say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is there any?
No, I do technically live here. My kids are here. My dog is.
Okay. Nice. I'm jealous of your topography over there because I'm in Dallas and I love riding bikes, and we have none of what you guys call down there hills.
Yes, I live in hill country.
Beautiful out there.
It is.
All right, let's go ahead and kind of break into your early influences of how you came about photography. Was there any particular instance that you remember? You're like, wow, that's really cool stuff. I want to learn about that. Or was there somebody in the family or a friend that started doing it and you just kind of took into it?
Well, my mom was a photographer. So I was always around it. And she was a stay-at-home mom. She actually homeschooled us, and she did weddings on the weekends. Not that I remember that part, but I do remember she did photos, portraits and studio. Like we would set up a studio in our house. So I knew how to like set up the lights and plug in the lights. We had to plug in the lights. And it was always around me, but I didn't like it or find it interesting necessarily. But when I finally got the privilege of going to public school, I had to pick an elective. So I was like, well, let me pick photography because I know a thing or two about it. And then I fell in love in the darkroom.
Nice.
With the smell of fixer.
So when you say you had the privilege of going to public school, does that mean you started off at homeschool?
I was homeschooled, for 9 years. 9 years.
Just out of curiosity, how was that transition for you?
Oh, I made all this like social mistakes that you see in Mean Girls. And probably then some.
That's hilarious.
But I loved it. I mean, academically, I needed it for sure.
Where was all this? Was this in Texas or somewhere else?
No, New Jersey. I'm from
New Jersey. Yeah. The Northeast up there is a little rough. I've worked with a lot of New Yorkers, so it was kind of a growing up here in Dallas area and working in the services industry. Everything is very by the book, and it's they call it spec. And when I started working in the industry with people out of New York, it was like, am I on the set of Goodfellas here? This is like, you guys play by different rules. I like it, but it's different.
Yeah. That's what we do. Did you lose my feed? I went
No,
black. I thought, okay, good. Just on
actually,
my end.
you're a little frozen. We'll see if it comes back.
Okay. Hopefully I'm frozen in like a perfectly
You have a beautiful
not
smile.
embarrassing. Oh, good. Great. But yeah, I fell in love with it in the dark room and, couldn't drag me out of it.
It's kind of funny how that works when you're subjected to it as a child because it's with my parents, you're like, whatever. And then eventually, as you get older, sometimes it comes back around and you just fall in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of how it was for me, too, because my father shot and I went to the store with him. And that was the first time that I actually took interest in it because I'm a gadget geek. But he'd always been around shooting 35 millimeter film. I couldn't care because it was taking time away from me from having to pose in front of the camera. But then when he took me in the shop and I saw the different cameras and all the different lenses, I got hooked.
Oh, yeah, that'll definitely do it. That's for sure. All the gear, that's what we love.
Yep, especially for someone that's a gadget geek. So did your mother actually take you under her wings and teach you things, or did you bypass that because you didn't have interest in it early on and then found somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, she taught me what I needed to know to assist her.
Yeah.
Setting up things and packing them, and not really so much about camera settings or anything like that. I didn't take any photos, but I learned it all in high school. I learned it from my high school photography teacher who did weddings on the weekends. And then I worked for him after I graduated. And that's how I got in the whole wedding world.
Nice. So does that mean, did you end up going to college afterwards, or did you progress straight into this and just kind of take off?
I kind of wish I progressed right into this,
Yeah.
but I did go to college because I thought that I had to have a real job. I thought, I need benefits and a 401k or 403b, whatever it was, a pension. And my only examples of photography were my mom, who really, my dad was the breadwinner, and my high school photography teacher, who was a photography teacher in high school. So I didn't think that unless you're like famous, like National Geographic famous, like that you could make a living at it. Like I thought you had to get a real job. So I went to school and I did go for photography. Not that it did anything. The photography teacher I had there was just like, I mean, for an associate's degree, here's my argument. Don't go to college. That's where we're going to start with. Don't go to college. Because your major, if you get an associate's degree, for example, all you need is 4 classes, which amount to like not that much.
Not a whole
So
lot.
it was like photography 101, whoop-de-doo, photography 102, whoop-de-doo, the art of photography. Oh my God, so boring. I'm sorry. I'm just not. Art history, like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And then 4, I don't know, was it 201? Like it just wasn't anything helpful. I have to say the colleges I've been to now are a lot better, and they teach a little bit of business, which I have to applaud your audience. So obviously that I'm teaching Labor Day weekend. Actually, I'm spending Labor Day weekend with you guys. I am teaching a business class one day, and then a hands-on like posing lighting with couples class. And 99.9% of the time, the business class, nobody wants to come to. Everyone wants to shoot. Everyone wants to play with the lights. Look at the like Canon's coming. There's going to be cameras and lenses you can try at the shoot. But that's the one that's not sold out yet. The business one is. So like, kudos to your audience for like jumping in on the business knowledge so they can afford all the gear we want to play with.
Yeah, the landscape's changed quite a bit, and that was a question that I was going to throw at you in a little bit about the progression of knowledge within the field of photography. Did you happen to collaborate with a lot of photographers other than the one who took you under his wings for your journey?
5 years.
Like, how did you
5
learn?
years. I worked for him solely for 5 years because there was this sense of exclusivity back then. Like you didn't go out and work for other studios. You worked for one studio, and then maybe you owned a studio at some point. So it was a thing. Like I had gone to a workshop. It was a business one. And I met someone named Kenny Kim, and he asked me to second shoot for him. And I remember it was a big deal. And I do have to hand it to, his name is John Hain. I do have to hand it to him. Like he handled it well. If it had been like someone else in the industry at that time that was like a boss, they would have been like, no, you're exclusive to me. No. But he was like, you know what? go do it, go do it. And he, let me, not that I needed permission necessarily, but he, he did, he encouraged me to go and he let me do it. And it was one of the best things I ever did, because I mean, later after shooting for him, Kenny was like, Vanessa, why don't you do this for yourself? And I was like, wait, what? We can do that. Zoe finding something to bark at.
Yeah, I locked mine in one of our rooms just in case, so I fully understand.
She usually is good with her bark collar, but something's interesting.
So it sounds like you're in a pretty fortunate situation when you first got into it. My next question was going to be, when you had questions as a newbie, back then, like I said, the landscape was very different. It wasn't quite as open with education and technique, because I remember a lot of gatekeeping. When you ask somebody, I really like this photo you took, I'm curious on the process behind it. How did you do it? Lips were locked. Nobody wanted to say anything.
Yeah. Well, and they would even edit their photos. You notice that people would edit fake catch lights in people's eyes to figure out the lighting. That's awful.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the barrier to entry back then was so much higher as it was. I mean, whether it was gear or like actually needing to know light ratios or whatever, so it's almost weird how much gatekeeping there was back then versus now. People complain about gatekeeping now, and I'm like, oh, you have.
Yeah, they have no idea. Because now you have YouTube, you have Google machine, you've got everything just out there and everyone's willing to share. Even the brands themselves have resources to teach you how to shoot. And that just was not the case back then. And, on the topic of gear, there wasn't as many options back then. Like you had first party and that was basically it. There was no third party stuff going on.
No, nothing. And it was so expensive.
Yeah.
Zoe's back.
Zoe's back.
Zoe's back.
Yeah, you mentioned the darkroom.
Yeah.
So how many years did you shoot film?
I guess. I mean, I still shoot film. I still got it.
Yeah. Is that more for fun or is that part of your business also?
I do it in my business, but I refuse at this point to be told to do it.
Gotcha.
Like I will do it when I want to and feel like it, because I really do love shooting film. I mean, I shot film, I guess, for like 6 years on my own, but I feel like so much of my thing that I love, my hobby has become the thing that I'm paid for. So film to me, I kind of hold it close. Like, no, this is mine. That you can't pay me to do this. It's not on my price list.
Yeah, that's good to keep that differentiation, because a lot of people don't realize just how much goes into this on the back end to make it work.
Yes.
So I assume that when you started your business or started taking this more seriously as a method of income, you were in the middle of the digital change. Am I correct?
Yeah. I started my business in 2008. 2008, and it was the middle of a recession, and also the middle of that digital shift and the beginning of social media.
So were you hesitant to make the change like so many were, or were you curious and kind of took it in?
I was curious and just took it in.
Okay.
I think I wasn't intimidated by it. I think that's what a lot of people had a problem with. And I don't say intimidated by it like they were scared to pick up the camera, like, oh, how does this work? It wasn't that. A lot of photographers during that time, they were really angry at it, especially a lot of the purists, but they were intimidated by it because it did lower the barrier to entry a lot. And it was a big change. Most people made it. Most people made it through, but it was a rough time. I was fine. I was young enough where I'm like, yay, new thing.
Yeah, I was the same, because when my first digital camera came out, well, it was the Nikon D70. It was the first one that was affordable for me. And I bought that thing, and I can't tell you how many shots I shot with that. And I was just like, I can experiment. I can try stuff, and I don't have to put money and get all these shit negatives back and be like, man, I suck. It's like instant feedback. Man, I have to bleep that out. It's all right. We're grown-ups.
Yeah, well, and it took away a lot of the guesswork too, because it was, you wanted to know what something did to the
What the
photo
effects
when
would be.
you were learning. So you were writing down, okay, it's this frame, these
Yeah.
settings, and then you'd have to match it up later. Of course, you know, at some point, you know, you were able to see it on the negative as far as the settings, but that wouldn't help you see like what the lighting was doing right away. It was always just wait and see.
Mhm.
You
Which
couldn't improve on the
it's kind of
spot.
fun when you're doing, like, remember the old school disposable cameras that you carry with you at parties and stuff like that. That's a different vibe. So
Yeah.
that still works.
Yes.
But for a business, it's kind of hard to keep up with the fees for the processing and the development and all that stuff.
Yeah, that part gets expensive.
Yep. All right, so let's take the next step. You've decided you're going to do this for a living.
Yeah.
What was that moment? When did you realize, hey, this is it?
Oh man, it took me a while because I became a teacher. I became a Spanish teacher because that was
Spanish
the real,
teacher.
yeah, that was the real job I
Yeah.
had to have. That was, you know, the 401k, the whatever. And I became a Spanish teacher. And then I guess it was about 3 years into teaching that I got so busy and I kept having to take off Fridays. So they were not particularly thrilled with me for that, that I had to leave really about halfway through the year.
Okay.
Yep.
So when you decided, hey, I want to do this, this is the route I'm taking, did you already settle in on a niche, or were you still kind of figuring that out? Because I see that you're not just a wedding photographer.
Mm-hmm.
You do wildlife, and I see you do a little bit of sports here and there.
Yeah, I was just weddings there. I did some
Okay.
families, but really just weddings. I was just weddings for, I guess, really until like maybe 7 years ago now. It was really just all weddings because weddings are they're a funny little niche, which you will learn about if you're coming to the business class.
I'll be there.
They just, they don't want to see anything else. Even though you think like, oh, a wedding couple, they're thinking about family and babies. No, they don't want to see family and baby photos. Everything is about that wedding.
Yeah.
So when you market and when you do weddings, you have to separate it from everything else you do. Now, I no longer do because I don't give a crap. Because I do have a lot of really good sources. So I'm okay right now with not niching there on certain platforms. So like my website, totally separate. You go to vanessajoy.com, you'll see a splash page. You go to weddings or you go to the other stuff. Instagram, I combo it, but TikTok, I'm actually going to build a new TikTok that's only wedding content. Because a lot of things, just when it comes to marketing, not necessarily who you are as a photographer, but when it comes to marketing, you have to separate it because we are so used to having advertising and having content just fed to us based on our preferences. So if we go encounter some account, some anything, and it's not based on our preferences, we're out the window. We're totally bored right away.
I'm going to throw up your website real quick so everyone can check that out. That's not your website. That's from our website. Let me take that down real quick. Yeah, I like your website because it's simple and it gets to the point, and it shows your 3 silos that you are involved in. There we go.
Yeah. So you got weddings there, and then the corporate section, then all the photography education, because I do a lot of that, a lot of business education, a lot of, teaching photography as a skill too. But that you have to separate it because the wedding people don't want to see corporate headshots. They don't want to see babies.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even want to see babies. You won't find babies online. I only do those family, like maternity, baby stuff for people I really love, people that I've worked with before, and I really enjoy.
Really close friends. Tight circle of that, right? You don't want to get
even tight clients. Yeah, not even family. That they're actually harder to deal with.
Right. How did you decide, or why did you decide to expand into the education space? What was the motivation behind that?
Oh man, it's going to sound really mean, but it was because I had gone to a photo convention was so excited to learn from someone that was a great photographer, phenomenal. I needed to know what that person did photographically, like skill wise. And I learned nothing. I walked out learning nothing because he didn't know how to teach. And I had an education in that. I had my, bachelor's degree in education and experience in education. So I just thought, you know what? I can't teach people. Actually, I started teaching marketing. I didn't even teach people how to take photos because I still to this day, I'm like, yeah, okay, my photos are okay, but that's not my strong suit. My strong suit is the business side. So I started teaching marketing because I knew how to teach. And then I taught at like a local PPA regional meeting. Mm-hmm. There were a lot more of those then. And then, one thing leads to another and you just fall down the rabbit hole.
Now, on the marketing side, was that all just from self-taught trials and tribulations, or did you have that as a minor when you studied?
I did not study it at all. I've never taken a business class or had never taken a business class to that point.
Which is why you don't go to college.
Which is why you don't go to college, exactly. But I can't even remember what subject she was teaching, but she was an adjunct professor that was a marketing executive at Lawn Doctor, the Green Thumb franchise. Yeah. So she thought I was a, good human being with a good head on my shoulders and offered to have me come intern for them. So I interned for them for a couple of years and in the marketing department. Okay. So I learned marketing just by being there. I can't even think why on God's earth she would want me there. I had no experience whatsoever, but it was great. So I learned a lot of marketing. Everything from the graphic design and photography to direct mail campaigns that I was in charge of and, dealing with franchisees and things like that. So it was a good education. It was really pre a lot of businesses being on social media though. So they were not, so that was all self-taught. And by self, I mean, I learned from a lot of other people as well as experimented.
Yeah.
But nothing formal.
Was there, when you started finding your niches, were there other styles of photography that you really, really enjoyed, but you walked away from before deciding on weddings because just the return on investment wasn't there for you?
I didn't look at it that way. I just started to do weddings and knew you could make money at it. So I kept going. Yeah. I think I liked other forms of photography. I enjoyed landscapes.
Okay.
Which is funny because now I hate them. I don't really
like why?
I just like people. I like to photograph people.
I gotcha.
In general. Well, I like beautiful landscapes, I would say, because I do photograph landscapes on a corporate level, but that's different because I'm going to like beautiful resorts.
Yeah.
It's a little different from photographing the Jersey Shore.
It's hard to get a bad shot when you're out in some of those resorts and on your safaris and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Yeah, so I fell into it. I didn't have any other examples of ways to make money other than a portrait studio that was nearby, but I didn't really want to do that. I did photograph babies inside of Babies R Us for a while, though. That was something.
That's a tough one because when they don't want to cooperate, they do not want to cooperate.
No, but I learned to come out of my shell there and like be okay being like louder or, looking stupid because that's what you have to do.
Because you got to be goofy for them to take notice.
Yep.
So that actually leads me back to another question about how you were when you were younger and being so proficient in shooting portrait work, like you touched on. You have to be very personable to get good results, because if you don't know how to hold a conversation or quickly find how to find something in common to speak on, it's going to be a very awkward session. So when you were younger, were you introverted and you had to develop this skill? And if you did, how did you do it?
Oh, I'm still introverted. I just pretend I'm not. No, I pretend I'm not. And that's I don't know if I was given that advice or that was just always my mentality. It's like, well, I'm super shy and I don't want to talk to anyone and I want to go home. But if I'm going to be here, I might as well be here.
Make the most of it.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for people when they're on set and they don't have that skill yet? How do they develop it into
Oh,
putting the models and the subjects at ease?
you can practice it with ChatGPT now.
That's amazing.
You can role play.
That is
You
amazing.
can role play your sales calls. You can role play your consultations, your album design calls, whatever it is. Like you can sit there and role play. So I would recommend that. But also, work with family and friends first. If that is
Okay.
something that you are not like totally sure about, of course, family and friends. And then the other thing is you can write out a script. You're not going to read the script. You're not bringing the script to the photo shoot, but like write down bullet points of, your best dad jokes that are going to get some kind of reaction from your clients, because that's the real secret. When it comes to posing, it's a little bit about posing. It's a lot about how you make your clients feel and how you make your clients react, which, when it comes to what I'm going to teach with you guys with the engagement couples, we named it Capturing Connection, because that's the goal. It's not necessarily capturing a portrait when you're working with couples. It's capturing the connection, the chemistry between the two of them. And that's a totally separate art from, photographing a perfectly lit or perfectly posed photo.
Good stuff. So let's talk about gear. When you first started, were you in a position where obtaining the gear that you needed was difficult?
Oh, I eBayed it on the gray market.
That's funny. Because I did the same thing.
Yeah, the nearest camera store to me, I guess it was like 45 minutes away.
Okay.
I'm trying to think now, but I would eBay, because I couldn't afford the new stuff in the camera store. But now, I mean, like, I'm sure competitive cameras, you have your used department, right?
We do.
Yeah. So you can just go and like test it and get it. I was just clicking on eBay and like hoping it would come okay.
Open it up and it's a box of rocks, right? I hope they actually ship the camera.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And now, like, we're so spoiled. Like, you can just go right down the road, to places like Competitive and test out the gear and hold the gear and take a look at the scratches on the gear if you're buying used. Which buying used is one of the best things, I think. I mean, we're so spoiled. People don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, it's just we're so spoiled. Every camera's a good camera that comes out now, and really has been for the past long time. Like, I just sold my 1DX Mark III. That's like the last flagship DSLR camera that Canon came out with. And, what was it, $6,500 when it came out? I sold it for $300. And you can go pick up that $300 camera and start your career. Like, the barrier to entry is very low right now.
That's crazy to think that somebody picked that camera up for $300.
Mm-hmm. Someone did.
That's so wild. When you were starting out and establishing yourself, what were some of the challenges of stepping into a industry that's historically been predominantly male? Because when I first started, there were not a lot of female photographers at that level. I knew a lot of ladies that shot for fun, from photography class and art classes like that, but none of them ever took it and said, hey, I could maybe make a profession out of this.
Yeah. And female business owners in general were fairly non-existent either at that time, or CEOs.
So what were some of the biggest obstacles for you when you started this journey?
Oh, I noticed it. I definitely noticed it. I mean, I remember the first PPA meeting I walked into, I was one of actually 3 women, but one of them came with me. So
you brought back up.
Yeah, I came with her. I think I was a backup at that point. But I never looked at it as a problem. And and I think maybe I lived in a little bit of a bubble, and I don't mean that like naive, but I think the men that I was surrounded with were very encouraging. I learned, and I worked for a male photographer who taught me like everything I knew at that point. And was a great teacher and wonderful, albeit he did make me cry a few times going over my photos.
There's no crying in photography.
Oh, yes, there is.
A lot of it.
A lot. And then, the person who encouraged me to get out there and start my own business, that was a man. You know, my husband was, well, is still a videographer, but, you know, he encouraged me at the time. So I lived in an area where I was surrounded by men that were really supportive. And it wasn't until later that I had opposite experiences. Honestly, right here on YouTube. Right here on YouTube,
it is a cesspool of debauchery on socials, and it's pretty frustrating at times.
But it's mostly men. If I would put it in a percentage, the mean comments I get, 99.99999% men. Every once in a while, a woman pops up. And then when it comes to like my experiences in the industry, even now, or over the last 10 years, if I've had issues, it's been with men who flat out vocalized that they resented me because I was a woman.
There's a lot of angry basement dwellers out there, Vanessa.
Yeah, well, they're on stages too.
All right. Can you walk us through a typical work day for you, if you even have one?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
Well, that's good, because then that keeps you on your toes and you're not stagnant. You're not bored.
Yeah, it does. I tend to have to like block things off. I'm a time block kind of person. So I'll create meetings, but if I know I have like this presentation to write, I'm going to time block it off for me. And then it'll be different every single day. But my kids are on a routine. So my kids have to be out in the morning, and then actually they'll be popping in the door any minute now. So that has to change a little bit. That's had to change, but I like not having a routine. It's annoying sometimes when, you know, I try to make a doctor's appointment or on the phone, God forbid. And they're like, okay, well, what's typically a day of the week that's good for you? I'm like, that is an invalid question.
Cannot compute. What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
How old are your kids?
They're 7 and 10.
Okay. Mine are 14 and 10. So I'm right there with you.
Now, have you watched K-pop Demon Hunters? Because I just watched it last night.
Girl, I got 2 daughters.
Do we want to sing the song? I have it. It's literally up. I was listening to it today. I'm like, yeah.
Just off topic. The Cinemark down the street from us, they have a sing-along this coming weekend.
Oh, it's this weekend.
So I went and bought them tickets, and I said, all right, get ready. Saturday, this time, you're going to go watch it. And they go, are you coming? I was like, are you out of your mind? I bought you tickets. Enjoy for me.
Oh, you're supposed to say, of course.
Yeah,
of course,
right.
I'm coming to sing with you.
No, but my daughters are very into the musical and theater stuff, so I'm surrounded by that.
Oh yeah, that's great. The thing with that, I'm going to full circle this for you.
Yeah.
So when it comes to social media, you need to know crap like that. Now, maybe not quite that, but if you were a family photographer, for example, 100%, you need to know what song is trending so you can put that trending music on your reel that you post on social media. For the wedding world right now, everyone knows the Summer I Turned Pretty, and it's a Netflix series. Everyone's watching it. It's this thing. So now you see I've posted like memes and reels about the Summer I Turned Pretty and relating it to like wedding photography and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is important, which is nice because it almost gives you permission to have a life outside of your business.
A little bit. Yep.
And it helps your business. I am getting Sunday's tickets. Thank you very much.
Get on it.
I just found it. Oh, I'm going to be my kid's favorite. This is great.
We're going to
thanks.
Expand on your experience of building a business.
Yeah. Can
you touch on the importance? Well, first of all, how big is your team? How many are on it, and what responsibilities do they have?
We have to define team because, you know, back when I first started, it was you hired your people, right? And like they were your people. And I have a little bit of that. I have certain people, especially the ones that shoot for me. They're the ones I'm most
in different regions, I'm assuming.
Different regions, different areas. I do have one person, a couple people that I will fly to different jobs consistently. So that is part of it. So I have really 1, 2, 3 solid photographers and content creators, because I do have like certain assistants and people that I will have come with me. But they are few and far between. And then I have 2, I have to think about this because I just hired a second virtual assistant. So I have 2 virtual assistants. And then I have 2 full-time video editors Remember, I do YouTube and all these, content producing, and I have an online subscription that pumps out monthly educational content. So, but one of those video editors also helps schedule and post and write all the content that goes on my social media. So I guess really like 4 people that are consistent. I talk to them almost every single day. They work for me every single day. And then the other people that are more contractor based, like really 4 of them that are super consistent.
Okay. So can you touch on the importance of actually building a team to help work for you? Because I think a lot of the people that start off have a hard time with, because this is an art, right? The basis of it is an art. That's how we all got into it. It was a passionate thing. And then at some point we decided, hey, this is a commerce thing. At what point did you decide, hey, I actually have to let go of some of these responsibilities that I hold so close to my heart? But in order for me to grow the way I want to grow, I just have to have somebody else do it. Was there a moment of frustration that kind of spawned that? Or was that already something in your head that you had thought about prior to expanding?
I'm really trying to think about this, because my own business, when I started it, I am pretty sure from the very get-go, I outsourced my editing, for example, my culling and editing the photos. And I can't remember if that was advice that was given to me. I can't remember like what turned that decision, other than the fact I flat out hate editing.
I was actually just going to commend you for making that move so early.
Yeah, well, I don't like it. And truthfully, I'm not good at it. I will be the first to admit I am not good at editing. I think I'm good at it when I look at a single photo. I know what I want. I know what I want to see. But when it comes to consistency for like 1,500 photos on a wedding, it's not happening.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm just not good at that part of it. So that's really important, that I outsource that. And then also for my sanity, because the first full year that I was doing weddings, I did 19 weddings in a year, and I was still a full-time teacher. So I do have a YouTube video. If you just search like Vanessa Joy 19 weddings, it'll come up.
A stack plate right there, Vanessa. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. So, it was a lot right off the bat. So I just outsourced it. So I kind of let the creative part go first. And then from there, I was able to let everything else go.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest restraints or shackles that most creatives have, is just allowing themselves to give up some of the responsibilities, because you feel like, of course, there's nobody that can get this done the way I want it done. But the fact of the matter is, if you're spending all your time doing that, you can't spend your time getting better at other things, right?
Well, and getting marketing, my time is better spent in front of a wedding planner than it is in front of a computer.
Yeah. So when you brought your team on, let's just talk about your core 2 or 3. What was the thought process in vetting them? Like, was there a specific criteria that you wanted them to meet, or did you just hang out with them and like went off based off vibe and
Oh, you're good. Yeah, no. Yeah. I definitely was able to grow with a lot of people. That was really, really helpful, growing with a lot of people and learning photographically with them. So I was building relationships and really just building like trust and building our photography skill together at that point.
Okay.
So that I was pretty spoiled in a lot of ways because of that and being able to do that. But it takes a lot of trust. It's not just about the photos, and that's where a lot of people are kind of like hung up. Like, it's not just about the photos, it's about the personality and how that person represents you in front of
Absolutely.
That is actually much more difficult to find than somebody who takes good photos.
Yes.
And photos, no big deal.
Yeah. That's one of the things we'll talk about a little bit later when we go over some of the social media stuff, but personality and their ability to handle situations under duress and to represent not the product, but the brand, because that's more important.
Yeah, it really is, because those are the things, especially when it comes to weddings, you're having 200 people at a wedding judge you based on how you're acting. More, they don't see a single photo. They decide how good of a photographer you are by looking at you, not by the photos you take at all. You could have screwed up that wedding and they'll be like, yep, she's great.
Yeah, because if you're killing it at an event and you're giving off the positive vibes and people like you, they'll ask you for your information before they even see a picture.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, what's your contact? I want to give you a shout for our party next week or something like that.
Right. Exactly. And then on top, it's funny. I actually said that to a mother of the bride once. I was feeling snarky that day, I guess. She's like, oh my God, we're like, we didn't even get to the ceremony yet. And she's like, oh my gosh, Vanessa, you're just so wonderful. These photos are beautiful. I'm like, how do you know?
Appreciate the faith.
I can just tell. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
You're a smart mother.
You are. I know. Yes. And yes, they are awesome. Thank you. Oh yeah.
How did you?
It's a big part of it is personality.
How did you develop the ability to lead a team? Like delegate responsibilities and communicate well enough that everyone's on the same page. Did you play sports growing up? Were you in any kind of clubs that you were a leader in?
Yeah, not team sports. I think I've always just looked at it as a teaching role. I didn't really look at it as leading so much. I looked at it as like, oh, I bring somebody on, now I have to teach them something. I know how to teach anybody anything. You can teach anybody anything I know, and sometimes even things I don't know. So it is, something I was trained on and practiced, and that's always how I looked at it. Now, not everybody is teachable, I will say, but for the most part, you're able to do that and teach things. The only thing you can't really teach is work ethic. That one I can't teach.
I've been in a position of hiring staff many times. And at first, when I noticed this, because I agree with you, I thought to myself, am I just getting old and grouchy? Because these kids don't want to work. And then I was listening to the music on the radio, and I haven't listened to the radio in a while for music. I'm like, this music is all garbage. Is it because I'm getting old? But no, I pulled up the lyrics and compared the music. I was like, there is no writing in here. It's just all beats and repeating the same things.
It's not K-pop.
And it's funny because my 14-year-old, I got her an iPhone last year. And of course, she got on social media, but we started off small. We made it a private account and went over rules and stuff like that. But to my surprise, she posted a couple reels.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't teach her anything. She never asked me a question.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, if you're not my daughter, I still would have watched this a couple of times. I was like, that's pretty damn good. But then when I got her in a situation of getting into like the real nitty gritty of producing things, they don't want to do it because it's too hard. They're all so used to the 3 seconds. If it doesn't get you in 3 seconds, I'm done. It's too much dedication. And that this whole generation is just, it's hard to deal with because you don't want to just get frustrated and give up on them. But at the same time, they're not helping themselves enough for you to help them. And it's just a different mindset.
They just need to, the best way to explain it, it was explained to me, and I love this because I tend to think of it, I always think, I have to have a good hook right in the beginning to get people to watch. Fine, like marketing 101, sure. But I was speaking to a younger wedding photographer, and we were talking about in-person conferences or in-person workshops, like the ones that we're doing here with the competitive. And I was asking her specifically about like a big conference. I forget if it was like WPPI or Imaging USA or something like that. And I was like, oh, so can you tell me, like, why doesn't your generation go to shows? Like, do they not know they exist? Are they boring? Are they not what you need? Like, what is it? And she said, the reason is because I'm going to invest all that time, all that money, sit in a class and not actually know if I'm going to get what I need versus I can go on YouTube and know I'm going to get what I need in a lot less amount of time, even if I'm flipping through 700 videos.
Because you can filter through things a lot easier.
Yes. And, I had to respect it a little bit because I have found that most younger people value their time more than they value anything else, and their sanity, in their mental health. And I'm like, you know what? I can't be mad at that point of view.
That.
It's really good. Yeah. So if I'm not going to argue that point of view and I'm not going to argue that mentality, how then can I speak to that point of view and speak to that mentality? And it's taken a lot for me, and I'm still not very good at it. I think I'm still learning to switch around the way that I phrase things, the way that I say things, the way that I promise things in the beginning of a video to reassure them that, hey, this is worth your time.
Yeah.
It's much more difficult than it used to be. That is absolutely for sure.
Yeah, the whole social media content thing is kind of it's a rough washing machine of changes. It's like you feel like you have it, and then the algorithm changes, and then standards change, and it's one of those things that's like another extension of it, extending education that you have to keep your pulse on. Otherwise, it's not going to survive.
Yeah, it's true. You really do, because it requires you to keep your pulse on the culture, and requires you to keep your pulse on your target demographic, your target avatar. It requires you to keep a pulse on them and what they're looking at, what they're doing, what's interesting to them. But the good news is that you can also analyze your client avatar a lot more. You can target them a lot more than we ever used to be able to be. I mean, for photography, I mean, what was our form of advertising? Yellow pages?
Yeah.
Direct mail. That's it. And with yellow pages or direct mail got a little better, but you were just blanketing. That's what we called it, blanket marketing, right? You would just be sweeping the neighborhood with door hangers, literally.
Yeah, like going in a parking lot and putting flyers on cars.
Yeah. And now we can say, no, I don't want to reach anyone except the people that are between the ages of 24 and 32, and they're interested in all things weddings and they're in a relationship. Like that's nice.
Definitely is.
Now we just have to learn how to talk to them.
One more thing before we move on from the business side of it, you do have a team, and I imagine since there's only 3 of you in the core, and let's go ahead and include your satellite team, right, from different regions. Was it hard for you to establish the position of, hey, I am your employer, although I'm very friendly with you and we seem like we're cool? There is a boundary, and we have to respect that. Have you ever had issues with that? And if you did, how did you handle it?
It's my own issues, because if I bring you on and I keep you on, you are my family, and I treat you like family, and we are close like family. Like I'll tell you, my one guy, Nino, he's been with me for 13 years now, and he actually worked for my husband first. He lived with my parents for 3 years. I bring him everywhere. We will literally share rooms if we need to. It's no big deal. He's literally my brother. Yeah. So if I bring you on, like, you are family. Another girl that I work with, she turned into my best friend.
That's good.
As other people are not as close because they live in different countries. But my virtual assistant, for example, she's been with me for 3 years, and she's in the Philippines. So I just did a photo trip to Bali, which is more on her side. So I flew her over. I gave her a whole vacation in Bali. Like, you're coming with me.
Nice. You're probably going to get inundated with applications after this.
Yeah, right. Probably. But I mean, that's how I am, because my work is so much my life that I want the people around me to be my family.
Well, that's good, because it's hard pressed to find an employer or an employment period, whether it be a small business or a big business, that actually still keeps you in mind as a person and not another cell in a spreadsheet. And I've seen that happen quite a bit. And that's one of the things that I really applaud Eugene on at Competitive, is even though they turn the numbers that they do, and in our region, they're a big name, the team is family. And he looks out for everybody, and he makes sure everybody's good.
Yeah. I mean, I met him one time last time I taught this same class sold out at Competitive, and he just treated me like family right away. And I told Sarah, Sarah, the Canon rep, I'm like, I will come here anytime, because it's family. It's family. Like, I'm such a loyal person when it comes to like brands and people that I work with, sponsors, things like that. Like, you treat me like family, and treat you like family. Let's go.
He's quite the nurturer, and he's got a staff member who's very young, and she's only had maybe 1 or 2 other jobs prior to this. And I pulled her aside one time. I said, hey, you're in a very unique situation. appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
Because like this environment does not exist outside these four walls very often.
Right. It's great to find.
All right, let's talk about partnerships and social media. Let's touch on how you navigated building partnerships and relationships with brands early on. Was that something that you had the intent on building right away, or was it the other way around and brands noticed the stuff that you were producing and conversation started from there?
I think everything I've done has been with intention.
Okay.
Now people come, but in the beginning, I believe it was that first talk that I had, and I had been at least to a couple of talks where I knew they did giveaways and things that like made it exciting to come and win. So I had gone to Photo Plus in New York City, and it was however long before I was teaching the first thing that I taught, and I just went up to the vendors that I used, which at that time was Animoto and SmugMug. And those were two vendors that I used that had booths there. And I just like, hey, can you like support me in this? And like, I'm not asking for anything, just like give me a gift to give away so I can talk about you and get people excited. And they both said yes. And actually both of them ended up being like long-term relationships.
Nice.
So that's how I started. I approached the people that I knew, and then eventually I knew more people. And then those people would find me more brands or more sponsors, if I needed them. But I've always built those relationships based on other existing relationships. I do have to say at this point, one thing that does annoy me is, because I'm a Canon Explorer of Light, I have a lot of people that are like, hey, can you introduce me to Canon? And I'm like, I've never even met you in person.
How about
and the funny thing is, like, it's never just no. Like, I always want to say yes because I always want to help people. But at the same time, I have to protect the integrity of my word, right? So I can't bring them everybody, or they're not going to trust me anymore.
Yeah. Because I mean, you sharing a contact with somebody essentially puts you in a position where, whether it's implied or not, you're vouching for that person. You're vouching for them. Mm-hmm. You're like, hey, talk to this person. If it doesn't work out, you don't want that on your shoulders, because at some point that's going to be an issue. Yeah.
And it's never about like the work too. It's always, I need to know what your character is like. I need to know if you have integrity, if you're going to be loyal to some, whatever brand, and those things I just don't know if I've never even met you. Yeah. I've never seen you speak. I've never worked with you before. That being said, the people that I see, like, you don't even have to ask me. I'm going to talk about you to Canon anyway. The people that I see doing great things.
It's kind of funny, how old was that person, by the way?
Well, it's happened a lot. Yeah. It's not a one person.
Is it more on the younger end?
No. Both, all sides. Yeah.
Because I found that with the advent of social media, everybody sees the destination. They see the end game, right? But they don't see what you've been doing for 20 plus years. Yes. They don't know that all your relationships were built organically, that you talk to people that you've worked with, and then how it started. They just see, hey, she's a Canon Explorer of Light. She can make me one.
Right.
And
right.
they just say, I don't want to say, often used, maybe overused, but still very applicable for this is the entitlement. And there's different fields that I'm pretty active in. And one of it is action sports. I film a lot of mountain biking type content. Mm-hmm. And I started off documenting races. And within the race scene, there's the pros, and then there's the advanced level riders who all have some sort of relationship with the brand because they need support. And then you get these kids that are a little bit younger, and they've got a little bit of talent, but they've never talked to anybody at a race. They've never introduced themselves to a vendor. They've never introduced themselves to a brand, and they've never done any kind of testimonial for a product to say why I use it, right? So basically a blank slate.
Right.
And they'll say, hey, people, help me get a bike. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
How does that even work in your head?
Yeah. Well, at least we have the opportunity for education. Like, you know what? I can't get you a bike, but I can get you experience if you want to come do XYZ with me.
Which I guess, is this something that you guys touch on in your photography education, the marketing side of it?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
I run a mastermind now that is, one of the pillars is marketing, and networking is one that I hammer home a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
That's what I'm trying to hammer in for my 14-year-old. She's like, I don't want to be around people I don't know. I was like, but you need to make relationships.
Yes, then you won't know anybody you don't know, and that's not going to work out well. Yep.
Let me see what I'm losing my vision right now. Okay, so here is a question that I had for you. When approaching a brand, not so much in the early days, but let's just say towards the middle of your growth. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you've capped out, but on your ladder of growth, you've got a little bit of momentum behind you. You've got a little bit of notoriety, and you want to work with a brand, and they say, okay, let's talk. What would you like to do? And they say, I like your proposal. I like what you would like to do. Put a number to it. How do you come to that number? Because that's one of the hardest things for creatives, is giving themselves value.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to weddings, I was making packages for myself. But if I were to start from scratch, I'm always going to do the math, right? I have to know my cost of production. I have to know my cost of business. And I have to know how many hours go into whatever said project there is, and how much I want to make per hour. So it's not like super difficult. I mean, it's annoying math-wise, but it's not super difficult, right? You just add your cost of production, whatever it's going to cost you. Driving there, your gas. You have to print something, whatever the print is. You have to hire someone, whatever it costs to hire someone. You have to develop film, whatever it costs to develop the film or edit or whatever. And then you add up your cost of doing business, which is everything else, like subscriptions and gear and education, insurance, all that stuff divided by however many jobs you do for the year. So you just add those two up, and then you decide how much do I want to make per hour. I want to make $50 an hour. This job is going to take me 40 hours to do. Okay, then I need to charge $2,000 on top of my costs. And then that's it. That's your basic price.
At what point did you finally feel comfortable handing those numbers over to a potential client or brand?
Oh,
so everyone, when they start off, they're kind of like scared to put the number out there because, like, oh my God, they're going to say no.
Yeah.
Well, but you have to do it.
I've never not been scared.
It never ends, huh?
Yeah, but I've been confident because I know where those numbers come from, and I know why they're there, and I know what my life goals are, and what I need for that to happen too. Once you know those numbers, you become more confident in them, and then you can say them more clearly. One of the things actually I'm working with on one of my mastermind students is the confidence to say the number, because what ends up happening, let's just say you're doing a discovery call and you're getting to know them, or consultation call, whatever you want to call it. And, you click really well, but then it gets to the point of the price and you start getting so nervous that all of a sudden, now you have a tickle in your throat and you cough, or now you're scratching something, or God forbid you break out in hives, which I've seen before. And they ask you a question and you're so nervous about telling them the actual answer because it involves a price that you start dancing around it. And now because you're nervous, you all of a sudden look real shady, like you're about to run away to Mexico with their money. And sometimes that's just natural nerves. I think everybody has nerves when it comes to finances and money, and it's a stressful topic. We were always taught it was a stressful topic anyway. And, you have to be trained out of that sometimes. So I actually working with one of my mastermind students, and I have a sales script for him. He sends me his console calls. They're recorded via Zoom, and I audit them. I'm like, okay, here's where you got to look at this, because I know you're thinking you're saying one thing, but you're actually saying this.
Yeah.
It's something that a lot of people have to train.
It's practiced.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, quickly looking at your socials. Instagram, you have 133,000 followers. YouTube, you got 211,000 followers. What is everybody doing wrong? What's your secret?
See, it's funny. I look at that, and then I look at people higher than me. I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
There's always the goalpost always moves when you get to that next level, right?
Always. But really, the thing most people do wrong is they do exactly that. They look at followers, or they look at views, or they look at likes, and none of that actually matters. What matters is if you know how to turn followers and likes and comments into dollar signs. And most photographers don't have a strategy to do that. That's what actually matters. Other than that, the numbers are just vanity.
Do you have any tips on just like a foundation of how to create a system that does that? Like what are the pitfalls that people fall victim to, other than, like you said, just keeping a constant number at the numbers of followers and likes? Like what are actionable things that they could be doing that would help grow their business?
Ooh, that is like a sermon I could preach.
Give me the top two.
Let me give you here. How about this? I will give you the top tips, but then I will tell you how to get these top tips. If you just go to, one thing you want to do is you want to set up automations so you can automatically serve people. So a good example of this, go to my Instagram, which is at Vanessa Joy, and then send me a message. Make sure you're following me. Otherwise my message will end up in Facebook or Instagram jail. Actually, you can do this on Facebook too, if you want to. Send me a message and just say Insta tips, INSTA tips, 2 words, Insta tips. And then within a few seconds, I'm going to write you back and I'm going to say, you want the Insta tips? Sure. Here's how you get the Insta tips. And I'm going to give you a link to go get those Insta tips. So automation is one of them. The second thing is you need to call people to the automations that you create, some sort of call to action, CTA. But a lot of times what ends up happening are people just post pretty pictures and expect everyone to flood their inbox. And, I hope you do step in shit and that happens, but normally it won't happen. You have to actually tell people, hey, contact me for this or contact me for that. And you have to talk about their pain points and you have to hook them in order to do it. But even if you don't want to get that crazy, do 2 words.
2 words?
Actually, I think that might work too, but 2 words, I know does. The other thing is it doesn't work on desktop. You have to be on mobile.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so when you hit tap mobile device, on mobile device,
nice.
I don't think anything will happen. You could try it. But the biggest thing, though, is just post. Because so many people get too in the weeds when it comes to posting that they will just not post. And a post is almost better than no post at all.
It worked.
Oh,
I'm trying to figure out how to share it. There we go. That popped up.
Ta-da.
Look at you.
See that? I got
yes. Gives you more time to do things that are important.
Yeah. Well, and also do that thing that's important, because I do like helping people not get stuck on Instagram anymore.
So prior to the days of social media, how was marketing yourself different? And is there any foundational differences that you find? I mean, obviously now you can filter out and do certain things and streamline the process and get to the exact person you want sooner. But was there any kind of like the way you got a message out or the intent of the messages, has that changed at all? Or is it basically the same, just different mediums?
No, you need to be much more intentional about it now. Before you could just post pretty photos. And now you have to be really intentional about it. You also have to be very intentional about your relationships and making them, creating them, and cultivating them and keeping them. Marketing, especially more at my level, people think like, oh, you charge us much money, like you must not have to market yourself at all. And the truth is I have to market myself a whole lot more, a whole lot more now that I charge more, because it's a smaller pond, first of all, of possible clients that can afford me. It's a very competitive pond. And it takes a lot of marketing to do it.
Do you have any insider, just like maybe 1 or 2 tips or suggestions for people that are just hell-bent on monetizing on YouTube or Instagram?
On monetizing? Oh, You don't make any money. Don't even think about.
Because that's the thing, is people think once I monetize, I am set.
No.
That's it.
That doesn't No. I mean, when you get millions of views, sure, it pays some bills, but it's not covering my mortgage even at my level. So it's really all about the partnerships, and then about you having a product to offer or a service to offer of some kind.
Very smart. The constant change that we touched on earlier with the trends and the algorithms and stuff like that, is that something that you personally keep up with, or do you have somebody on your team that helps you stay up to date? Because that's almost another job in itself.
It is. I do keep up to date for the most part, but one of my virtual assistants, every once in a while, I'll tell her, go find me some trending stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you post stuff on socials, do you read all the comments?
Yes.
Guilty as charged.
Not all,
yeah,
but most of them I do. Unfortunately, I do have to stop doing that.
Yeah.
But I want to connect. That's the problem is, you know, people who actually have questions, I want to connect with them. And unfortunately, in order to do that, I have to weed through the mud.
I would like to take a second to commend you on your social media, because there's, in my eyes, there's really only two reasons people follow somebody. One is education and two is entertainment. And there's that fine line between being too entertaining and taking away from the education. And you straddle that very well.
Oh, thank you.
With your content, because there's certain times, I mean, obviously it's a subjective thing, and everyone's got different tastes, but I think overall you do a very good job of maintaining that balance. But I would like to show you something and get your feedback.
Sure. This is my favorite one.
Oh, hi! Here at Vanessa Joy Photography, we make sure that we are extremely unobtrusive so that your special day never feels like a pap smear. Contact us for more info.
How many takes was that?
2. One because I screwed up pushing the thing over.
Was that something that was a spur of the moment? You're like, hey, I got an idea. Let's make it happen.
Well, the first part with the, it's what's called a stitch on Instagram anyway. And I think I saw someone else stitch it, and I was like, oh, I can do something like that. That's funny.
Nice. And the comment thing was kind of a segue into this right here. This guy's comment talking about.
I didn't even see that one. Yeah. What doesn't suit an accomplished pro like you? Whatever. You're not hiring me.
How do you handle stuff like that?
Well, that one I didn't even see. It depends.
Because it's hard to not take offense to stuff like that, but then you got to realize this is
that one.
Internet.
I mean, I'm looking at his profile pic. Like, I know if I go, he's gonna be lame and he sucks. Like, that doesn't. The only time I get like you'll annoy me is if you say something that's like photographically wrong and you're trying to sound smart. Like, I actually had somebody do that. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I just noticed it this morning. But someone was trying to school me on the Sunny 16 rule and thought he knew better, and he's just so wrong. I'm like,
I was like, yeah, you chat GP an answer and you're throwing big words out, but you don't know why you're doing it.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that'll get me. Or if somebody more recently was like insulting my fingernail polish, I'm like, stuff like that, I'll just drop in my story and let my crew handle it.
You will not talk about my nail tech like that.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, now, honestly, reasons like that is why I get my nails done. I hate having nails done, but I get them done all the time because I constantly have to hold stuff on camera.
Right. You're a hand model. When people ask, why do you try? Because I see this question all the time on the web, and I have to tell myself I cannot respond because it's going to take too much time. And then another one of those questions is going to pop up in my algorithm. Next thing you know, I'm just laying there for half a day trying to school people on the reasons why. And this pops up all the time. And this is in a lot of different fields because there's a perception of a professional and the job that they do. People see the end result, but they don't know the nuts and bolts of how you get there. So they assume they know the value or the worth of the product. photography being a picture and people having iPhones. Oh, I could take a picture right away. Boop. Here's a filter. Oh, that looks fantastic. You're going to charge me how much to do that for me? Because I see people asking wedding photographers, why do you charge so much? What is your quick elevator pitch response to something like that without getting too heated? Like, how would you calmly educate someone? This is why.
Well, it depends on who it is. You know, if it's a wedding client, I flat out tell them supply and demand, because I'm only one me and I am booked out years in advance. So that's where I am. But it's also the experience, because the truth is, like, you're not going to notice the difference between my photo versus that other guy you're looking at, or the other guy. Like, you're going to get great photography either way, but what's going to make the difference is a great experience or not. I'm not going to charge you for something stupid like credit card fees. I'm not going to nickel and dime you for even travel fees. I'm not going to deal with that. You're going to get a better experience. I'm going to create it custom to you. I'm not going to try to fit you into some cookie cutter mold that I made. So I talk about the experience, and I do what's called selling the vacation, not the plane ride. So I'm not going to tell them how I meticulously edit every photo. I'm going to talk about how happy they're going to be when they're showing their beautiful album to their family and friends 3 months after their wedding, because that's how quickly I can get it done, because I'm not taking on too much work. Things like that.
You know, it's funny you mentioned going back and looking at the photos later down the road. I saw this post the other day. Someone said, I don't understand why photographers charge too much. They're way overrated and they charge way too much. They shouldn't be paid that much more than a DJ.
I think
and I was like, you know, DJs do a very important thing. They are a vibe of a party. But when's the last time you went to somebody's house and you were talking about a wedding and they said, hey, let me put the DJ set on, listen to this, and reminisce about their wedding, right? You've got tangible goods in your hands. They look over photos. It's like so much beyond just what they're doing the day of.
Yeah. Well, it's also, you know, people just value what they value, because I know plenty of people that would pay more for a DJ or music or entertainment than they would pay for a photographer. And that's okay.
Yeah. It's funny how everybody's so vindictive on telling people where to spend their money on the internet.
Oh, that's okay. They must have free time on their hands.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this. How do you pronounce it? I don't want to butcher the name.
Masai Mara.
Masai Mara. How did this come about?
I traveled to Africa, to Kenya, to the Masai Mara, for what I thought was just going to be a creatively rejuvenating photo trip. And I ended up making a ton of content for it, getting super moved by, you know, the people there and the atmosphere. And then I started a nonprofit to build wells in Kenya, because that was one of the things that really shocked me, was the lack of clean water and how much it affects their lives. Not just the fact that it's something like 1,000 kids under the age of 5 just die on a way too quickly. I feel like it's a daily or weekly rate, but it's also the fact that it takes so much time to get clean water. So if you look at like the amount of time it takes for somebody to go get clean water, like what else could they be doing in that time? Whether it's being with their family or being educated or, you know, whatever it is. So yeah, I started a nonprofit and raised a good amount of money so far.
No, that's awesome. I looked at the number. That's commendable.
Yeah, thanks.
And
I want it to be more, but that's enough to build, you know, a well and a half.
Yes, there's a link to this in the description. If you feel compelled to donate, please do so. Vanessa appreciates it. We will all appreciate it.
They will appreciate it, really. Yes. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think everybody should have some vehicle for a reminder to appreciate and have gratitude for your situation. Because in my own world, I don't know if you've heard of the radio station Kiss FM. Well,
yes.
There's a DJ named Kid Craddock, and they were actually stationed out here in the Dallas area. And he has a foundation called Kids. And every year they take a large group of kids that are ill and their entire family to Disney World to have an all-inclusive, just awesome week at Disney World. Everything's paid for. I've seen them take families of up to 10 people. Everything's handled.
Amazing.
And I was lucky enough to get asked to take pictures of it a few years back. And I remember the first year of doing the event, they have a private charter from Southwest Airlines. And before they get on the flight from Dallas to Orlando, it's a huge party. They've got Disney characters and Star Wars characters, and they've got Cane's chicken tenders. It's the vibes are high. But as they're getting on the plane, they have this like 150-foot red carpet, and they've got a DJ just blasting music, and they're on the mic, and the morning show cast is calling families out and announcing them like they're athletes, and they're going down the red carpet. Mm-hmm. And I'm not an overly emotional person, but I almost missed my shots because I couldn't see through the viewfinder. I was tearing up. I was like, this is so awesome. And it's just one of those things that, we're so busy in our lives and we got so much going on. Everything's moving so fast. Every once in a while, it's nice to have things like that remind you to be gracious of what you have.
For sure.
So I hope we can help you raise some more money for this. It's a very cool project that you're doing.
That would be definitely amazing.
Yeah, we'll keep
Thanks for including the link there.
No problem. So when does that end for the donation? Is that ongoing?
It's ongoing right now. I do it in rounds because I have to be present and in my studio to be able to print the orders and get them done. So the next round ends in mid-September. Okay.
Keep us posted when that ends and the next one goes out. We'll help you share that.
Yeah.
All right, so how often do you visit the Dallas area?
Oh, not that often, actually. Usually when I come see you guys.
Have you been enough to find your favorite places to eat or hang out?
Oh, I usually just go within 3 blocks from wherever I'm staying. Just walk outside.
It's easy.
Yep.
Yeah, we got plenty of good food up here. Not that you don't down in Austin, but we do have a lot of good choices.
We do breakfast tacos.
We'll have to get you some good food while you're up here. All right, quickly.
Definitely.
Can you touch on what will happen on Friday night for the Business of Wedding Photography event?
Well, the Business of Wedding Photography event is sold out. So I don't know how many people want to know. Maybe there's a waiting list you can get on, but that one is the exciting one because that is how I'm going to show you how to make money at photography. And it really is not as difficult as people make it out to be in the wedding world. I think people are working double time and don't need to. So I talk about that. But the next day, that's the one we still have some openings in where we talk about not just photographing. I mean, yes, we're going to talk about like posing and lighting. You're going to have beautiful models that you'll photograph. It's all hands-on. Canon's going to have cameras and lenses that you can play around with, which will be a lot of fun. But I'm going to show you how to create connection between a couple. And the fun part is that these are models, so I can't just like hop out and make them kiss. Can't do that. They don't know each other. That's not appropriate. But I will be able to really just demonstrate things that you can do to get genuine reactions out of people.
Cool. So a lot of good information, everybody. If you've been on the fence, don't be. Vanessa's got a lot of good points. She's very well versed in this. Learn from one of the best. We've got links for those events in the bottom too. Like she said, the wedding event photography, I think, is full, but we do have spaces left for the capturing connections. All right. I'm going to ask you some Q&A before we let you go. I've taken up quite a bit of your time. I appreciate you hanging out with us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
First question is, how does Vanessa de-stress and center herself? Do you work out? Are you a video game nerd? Do you like creating art? Do you read? What does Vanessa do?
Actually, yes, I play Final Fantasy.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Get out of here. That's awesome. Hold up.
I'm
that's
currently in Final Fantasy X. We're playing that right now.
Out of the blue.
Yeah.
Are you on what console are you on?
PlayStation.
You're such a dork. I love it.
Yep. It's true. Yeah, that, and I love a good meal, good de-stress.
Yes. What piece of photographic equipment did you get rid of, but you wish you still had today?
Oh my gosh. This is going to sound ridiculous. I wish I still had a good mat cutter.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've touched one of those myself.
Yeah, I really just enjoyed the math behind it, actually, when I was cutting my own mats.
I didn't print anything after I stopped shooting film. And I do miss those days of the darkroom, because it was just, hate to sound cliche, but it was just magic watching the image just develop right in front of your face.
Definitely was.
Yes. But I'm stepping back into it. I got a 1100 behind me that I'm going to unbox and get back into the printing side of things. So I think everybody needs to look at their photos actually in their hands at some point, because it's different than looking at the screen. All right. Vanessa would choose New York or Chicago style pizza.
In New York, there's just no question.
I'm with you. Chicago style pizza is a casserole. Let's get this
exactly.
Straight.
Chicago is bread. New York is pizza.
I went to New York a few weeks ago to help my mom sort her passport out, and we made it a trip of just eating. And we ended up at Joe's Pizza, and we waited for like 40 minutes for a slice of pizza, but it was so good.
Oh,
you can't beat that New York style.
You can't. Seth Miranda reminded me I am into pro wrestling lately.
You mean like WWE style? WWE.
Yeah.
It's not WF.
Yeah, my favorites are Rhea Ripley and Jey Uso.
That's hilarious.
Got it. Yeah.
Things that people would have never known. Are we choosing hamburger or are we choosing hot dogs?
Oh, hamburgers. Yeah. I'm allergic to hot dogs, actually.
What does that even mean, Vanessa?
I get a massive 105 fever if I eat a hot dog.
Is it a specific type of hot dog or any hot dog, regardless if it's beef or pork or turkey?
Don't know. It's just the processed meat and whatever they do to them. I get a nasty fever. I can have sausages, though. Those are good.
That's interesting.
Especially from City Field.
In case you haven't noticed, I am a big eater. Everything around me revolves around food. So I'm asking these questions. It's how you really get to know somebody.
That's very true.
All right. What is worse? A client that knows exactly what they want to the point that they micromanage your shoot and you don't feel like you're creating anything, or a client that replies with, I don't know, you're the artist, to everything you ask them?
I will take either one. I don't care. I'm happy with either one of them. I'm happy sometimes with the creative freedom, and I'm also happy with just being said, hey, here are my brand standards, colors, voice. Perfect. We'll do that.
You need change.
Yeah.
Shooting tethered or free range?
Free range. I hate shooting tethered. I have to do it fairly often, but I usually knock things over. Oh.
You are at a gig, you're in the weeds, everything's moving fast, you're in the middle of taking shots, and then someone hands you their phone and says, can you take a picture for me?
What do I do?
What do you do?
I take a picture and I hand it back.
Take a picture. No issues?
No. I'm not there to cause a rant. Remember I said at the very beginning, people judge you by how you act.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to represent my brand by being difficult, or am I just going to do it? Yeah.
Because I've seen people freak out.
Yeah, people can. That's okay. That's fine, as long as we don't talk about it later, because I'm not supposed to ever take a photo.
Talking about weddings and events, what is the best dinner you had at a gig? Was there anything that was just super exotic or just ridiculously good that you keep thinking about?
Nope. It's usually just vendor food. Yeah. I did get seated at a guest table once, which is like a gift and a curse. It's really nice because they did have on
really good stuff,
lamb's shank, but it's it's hard because then you have to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing and curse. That was probably the best meal I had, actually, at Shadowbrook in New Jersey.
Nice. Is there a piece of tech that you look at now that the current gen has and you think to yourself, kids, you have no idea what it was like prior to that?
Oh.
For me, it's a smartphone.
Really?
Because like I said, my 14-year-old cut a reel. I mean, she filmed it, she edited it, and she processed it and put it online in minutes. My first time trying video was the last time for a long time. Because I shot on this tape and my computer sucked because I didn't have any money. And getting the video from the tape to my computer was like a 2-day process, and I just couldn't edit it. It was just, and going from Photoshop to Final Cut was just another language. But now everyone's got it on their phone and it's so user friendly.
Yeah. Yeah. I think every piece of technology, even if in my head I hate it or it's difficult, I jump in.
Yeah.
Like full force. Like right now, I'm knee deep in learning options trading and stocks.
You can't tell me no type.
But it's yeah, I just kind of like jump in full force.
That's good. If you were not a professional photographer, what would you be?
Spanish teacher probably still, which is horrible because every year I just celebrate that I'm not going back to school again. Yeah.
I've got friends in the teaching space, and it's quite wild. Not just the part of actually teaching, but the politics behind the schools and the ISDs and everything. You know.
I do.
All right, so my last question to leave everybody with. Actually, let me look through here. Seth's got a bunch of stuff in here. Does he have a question for you? She's not ducking your hard-hitting questions, Seth. He wants to know how tall the giraffes were that you photographed.
Oh, I don't know how tall are giraffes. 15 feet? All I know is one night I was in a living room, like it was a tent, but it was in like the living room with one of the people that were there, and we heard this noise outside. Didn't know what it was. You can't see anything. It's pitch black. But we're like looking outside the screen to try to see, like, is it a lion? Is it
what is out there?
Yeah, what is out there? And one of the camp guards like flashes a flashlight so we see for a second. I'm literally looking like belly up at a giraffe eating the tree above me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're huge. So I don't know, probably closer to 20 feet now that I think about it, because I was definitely looking up at the belly. Yeah, that was wild. That was a lot of fun.
It's so wild when you take a break from the urban jungle and go see nature and how small we really are at times. Because I went to the zoo to do some content for a lens, and I saw the giraffes and the elephants and the rhinos. I'm just thinking, man, those are just such massive living organisms.
They are. They're so intense too, and the way they like stare at you in the eyes. Yeah. It's just, it's something.
Seth's calling you out on Mortal Kombat. What's that all about?
Because he's just really good at it. Like, I'm okay at Mortal Kombat. I've been playing Mortal Kombat since Sega, right? Sega?
Yeah.
But
you guys didn't hit up the Street Fighter?
I love Street Fighter. Actually, what was my favorite on Sega? Streets of Rage. That was my favorite game.
Throwing it back.
Yes, that was so good. So good. Yeah, but he did beat me live on Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I was much more proficient at Street Fighter than I was Mortal Kombat. All right, last question, and I'll let you go. When did you finally realize the difference between art and commerce? Because we touched on this earlier, and this was something that I noticed when I was at a studio and we were hiring more people for the team, and hiring based solely on their portfolio at times was actually a bad way of going about it, because they're so into their art and they've got so much emotionally invested into it. They had a hard time turning things over for deadline. And I would try to tell them, I was like, hey, love letting you put your spin on things, but this has to go out tomorrow. This is not It is a creative position, but this is not an art position, not an art gallery. This is a commerce. This is a business. We have to turn things over. Was that hard for you to distinguish? Was there a moment that you kind of realized, hey, maybe I should look at this different and go about it?
No, if anything, I don't consider myself to be creative, really. I really consider myself more of a business person. So deadlines to me, I'm very type A. Deadlines to me, like I meet them or I will die. They have to be met or it kills me. So thankfully, that's something that I really don't have much of a problem with because I see it very clearly. So I help other people see that. One of the big things I always say is, you notice the difference between like good and great on photography, on editing, on whatever, but your clients don't notice that last 20% of effort, 10% of effort that you're putting in, but they will notice when you're late. They will notice when it, takes too long or something else suffers. So that part is really important to understand the difference between what you see and what your clients see and understanding the difference.
So let me add something onto that. I'm sorry. I was going through your socials and you had a post. Let me see if I can pull it up. Or at least find it. It was something about calling yourself a real photographer. Can you expand on that? Because I think this is something that a lot of people have a hard time with because most people don't like labels. So is there, I guess, what is the battle there? And is there any value in holding that title so dear or not?
I don't recall the posts, but if anything, I was probably calling myself not a real photographer.
Yeah, is that something that, let me see if I can find, I'm sorry, I should have saved that one.
No, I mean, if you're thinking about like a professional side of things, you're a professional photographer if you get paid to pick up your camera. So yeah, I'm definitely not a purist when it comes to things. I mean, I know people that photograph with iPhones that are tremendous photographers, and I wouldn't take that from them. But to me, it's more about how you see things versus how you take them or capture them. That being said, Canon cameras all the way.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. So that wraps up all my questions. Do you have anything you'd like to add or a question for us?
No, I'm just really excited to see everyone in person. I'm thrilled that the business class sold out first. That is just phenomenal.
When do you get in town?
The day before, or no, day of, because that's a night class, right? Yep.
Yeah, it's an evening class.
Yeah, I will take the luxury bus line from Austin to Dallas. It's my favorite.
Hold on, what is this?
Von Lane. So it's a luxury bus. It's like sitting in an airplane seat.
How long is that drive?
I don't know. I don't drive it. I work. It's what, 3 hours, 4 hours?
I'd never heard of this.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I'll have to look it up.
It's one of the only good transportation options that they have around here. Other than that, public transportation's not so great.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Better than the Greyhound, right?
Yep, better than the Greyhound.
All right, well, I will let you go. I'm going to stay on and finish up with a couple things for everybody that tuned in. I appreciate your time, Vanessa, and we will see you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, gang, thanks for tuning in. That was our first ever live stream / podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Real quick, I do want to thank you again and touch on why you should come check out the old competitive cameras in Dallas, Texas. We are right outside of downtown Dallas off Irving Boulevard in the Design District. And yes, we are your choice, your go-to for all things photo and video. Because of these things versus big box stores, we have a staff with decades of industry experience, instant support and feedback. When's the last time you're on a shoot and had issues and called up Best Buy to help you out? Never. If it's on the market and there's no supply chain issues, we will have it. And you can come in the shop and try before you buy. And we're a hub for continuing education. Thanks again, everybody. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will forward them to Vanessa. Otherwise, follow the links below to come check out one of the events. Stay tuned on our socials on Instagram and Facebook. All the links are below. Have a great day, everybody.